We are going to be starting our first project, which is going to be creating a self-portrait using micrography, which is using typography to create an image. And the first thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be using a Sharpie, and you're going to be using a fine point Sharpie, so that's a little bit thicker. And you're going to be creating a contour line drawing by outlining all of the important features of your face. I'm using a picture of my son, but you will have a picture of yourself. And then you are just going to start outlining. One important thing I want to point out is that your nose is not an enclosed shape. So when you do your nose, you want to do something like, you want to do the edges of the nose and the nostril area. And then you want to do that middle of the nose. And you can leave it just like that, or you could add something like a little mark at the top to show where the top of the nose is, or line down the side, but don't do it like a big triangle. And then you're just going to keep going, outlining all of your lines to create a contour line image. Make sure you include all the important features so that you're not left without certain things when you finish your artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and finish outlining, and then I will show you what to do next. Now that I've finished adding all of my contour lines, if you flip over your paper, you'll be able to see if you're missing anything, because it should look like a cartoon version of yourself. I am going to use the light boxes, and there's a few of them throughout the room. They are old overhead projectors, or there's an actual light box. It's just a box that projects light through so that you can trace things. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to place my image on it, and I'm going to take a 9x12 sheet of paper and place it over the top of it, exactly where I want my image to be. Make sure that you don't move it. If you need to, you can put a little piece of tape on the edge of your paper to keep it together, especially if you don't think you'll have time to finish in one sitting and might have to finish another day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a number 2 pencil, and I am going to draw as lightly as possible. I do not want to see these lines at the end of my project. I'm going to be replacing everything with words. So I'm just going to carefully come in, and I am going to outline everything to create a drawing on my white sheet of paper. So for this project, we are going to end up getting rid of all these contour lines, and we're going to be doing that by using words to take the place of lines. And I found a bunch of examples, so you can choose the example that works best for you. Here's someone who did the entire face, everything, skin included, with words. But when you do this, you have to think about how big your words are, how close together they are. That will give the different shading or different values. Value is when a color goes from dark to light. So if you want something to be darker, a darker value to stand out, you can see her using those examples here in her eyebrows and the lips. She does a darker line of words around the chin line to really emphasize or bring out parts of her artwork. So you have to decide if you want to do all the skin with words, or maybe you want to do something more like, let's see, this person did more of just an outline, less words. So she did all of her hair with words and an outline around her important features. And then she left the skin pretty much white. So this is a little bit simpler. You can choose how you want to do it. There are some other examples here. This guy, he did his skin with letters, just kind of to fill in some of the space. This one actually used kind of like a shading technique here, and then stuck to the words for most of the artwork, but did use a little bit of shading on the hood of the sweater there. And then you can see letters done in a more bold marker and fine point marker, ultra fine point marker there. So I'm just going to go ahead and start mine, and as I work through it, I'm going to remove lines one at a time so that I can see where I want to put my words. So I'm going to start with something like the nose. And I'm going to erase the line enough that I can still see it. So you can see I can still see the line a little bit where I just erased it. And I'm going to go ahead and use ultrafine. So that's the really skinny marker. And you can see these markers look the same. One says ultrafine and one says fine though. Okay, so I'm going to use ultrafine, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to start writing my words. And again, these words should represent you, and it's okay if words repeat. Lyrics have nice long strings of words, so you might consider doing something like that. If you feel uncomfortable erasing the line first, you could always write over it and erase it all at the end too. You can see that once you go over your pencil lines with your marker, you're going to be left with the image, but minus the lines. I decided to go ahead and just write right on top of my pencil because I did my pencil so lightly, but I still want to go in and I want to use my eraser after I'm done with my permanent marker, and I want to get rid of any pencil lines that I didn't erase before. And so I'm just going to come in, clean everything up, make sure all of my pencil lines are gone. You'll also notice that I decided in some spots, like the pupils and the eyes, and the little smile marks around the mouth, I decided just to kind of leave those and draw lines for them rather than words for those. You can do that on bits and pieces. I really want almost everything to be lines. It should not be a bunch of, not lines, to be words. It should not really have a lot of lines left at all. So just make sure that all of your lines are being replaced with words. You can do a few spots that you think might look good, like the eyes, if you want to do something like that to make them stand out a little more. And obviously this isn't finished, but I would keep working my way along all of my lines. And then you can choose if you want to do anything else, like if you want to go into the hair and add a texture, you could do that. It probably would look better if I finished my hair with words all throughout, so I'm actually going to go ahead and do that. And don't forget, in bigger spots like the hair, you could do words with a fine point that you might want to stand out a little more. So maybe I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some bigger words that I really want to kind of stand out. And then I'll do smaller words around those as well.